Hello, Rachelle. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. Rachelle has come aboard to answer some questions. She has been an incredible advocate member showing up inside Crystallize Your Vision, the program that I've created to support heart-centered leaders, women in business, capitalize on their inner genius and really support them in tapping into their deeper intuition and trust themselves more so you can crystallize your vision and through, by energizing your pathway to clarity, confidence, and creativity. So Rachelle has very kindly gone through my program and been so awesome to come aboard here and share with us by answering some questions like how the program worked for her. And you'll get to know this beautiful woman inside out a little bit, I hope, here. So Rachelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you. Appreciate you being here, love. So let's get started. So kind of read some of these beautiful questions that we touched on. And so first one is, tell us who you are, Rachelle. What do you do professionally? Tell us something about yourself.
Hello, everyone. So yes, my name is Rachelle. I am 32 years old, born and raised in Canada. I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. I've done a lot of different things. And after having my daughter, I got into the mental health field. So what I do now is I work with moms who are experiencing high levels of anxiety, help them learn how to manage that, and then how to dig a little deeper and see why they're feeling that way. And it's been a really rewarding career thus far.
Oh, I love hearing that. Rewarding and career. It sounds like it's your passion, it's your life, it's your emanation of your journey that you can now elicit to your beautiful community, and people who join you in your teachings. So what was the challenge you were experiencing, Rachelle, that inspired you to want to work with me or inside our Crystallize Your Vision program?
Well, I didn't realize what it really was at the time. I was just drawn to working with you. But as we went through and started uncovering things, I realized what it was that I just did not have any self-worth. And it was affecting every area of my life.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I understand why we relate and why we resonated, because that is my piece. That has been my journey. And to this day, it still is. So I'll just mention to those joining us today is that this is a lifetime journey and we get better and better at loving ourselves and claiming ourselves. However, there are pieces that we're revealing to ourselves all the time. So thank you for sharing that with us. Rachelle, what was the change or changes that you were wanting to make in your life? If you could be a little specific about them.
Mm-hmm. So again, I didn't know any of this coming into it, but it all became very clear in a real way. Was that I needed to start listening to myself. I needed to listen to my body. I needed to trust my intuition. It became just so clear, all of these patterns that I had of numbing my pain in the past, and I was completely blind to it. And that was the big thing, was just like letting go of all of the things that I had been using since childhood, food to numb my emotional pain. And then as I got older, it got into sex and drugs and alcohol. And I mean, I experienced numbing in all of the ways. And then just being busy, like as a mom, like busyness, right? So one of the key things that I've learned is that, I have to just be. Like I can't receive messages to move forward and find out where I need to make changes in my life if I'm not just able to sit and receive them. So that was really huge, something that came through for me through this program. Is like, stop being so busy, let yourself feel these uncomfortable feelings so you can move through them.
Wow, that actually you kind of moved into one of the later questions I was going to ask you, is what are the tangible results you received or achieved? So it's like you were able to learn to, when we spoke, you were able to, there's prayer you were telling me about, and then there was meditation. And
Mm.
because of your upbringing, your faith, you knew what prayer was.
Mhm. To a point,
Asking, yeah. Could you
asking.
elaborate on that thing that we discovered, prayer versus meditation and the listening? Yeah.
Yeah, was that I grew up really religious, and that I was always taught to kind of see prayer as a form of like petition, like these are the things that I want, ask, but there was never any space on the other side for receiving those things or to hear maybe it's a no. It was always just an ask, and then like not really a belief that anything would come through. So that was, yeah, like the meaning of prayer through this whole thing really, I mean, being able to sit and just receive things and listen, that was transformative for me, to just sit and be.
And that being is active. It's active.
Yes.
I got stuck with this one too. So I totally relate, because my doer in me, the male dominant side of me, that the warrior that had to fight her way in my mind to achieve anything, coming from a male industry, for example, but how to deal with my addictions, that I try to numb. Like you and I are like soul sisters, like along the way. The being felt like I was not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my family, the first thing people would say on my mother's side when you got together is, did you work hard? How was work today? Do you have a job? Oh no, you don't have a job, or whatever the thing is. And it started with my dad. He raised me on a pedestal, and my sister was like a rebel of confusion, and we were both messed up. We just looked different the way we controlled our mess. I controlled my mess. So, and she didn't. She was so he sort of held me up, thinking, well, Colleen's the one with the job and the car, and looks like she got her life together, so he'll, honor that and love me, because it looks like I'm working hard, and it looks like my sister's not, but it's not true. So I wanted to just elaborate that to people understand that the being is actually an active, energetic state that shifts you from the inside, which did for you, to allow you to reset that vibe, that 1 to 10 scale. So you're attracting, well, not attracting, you're allowing in that which is operating, law of attraction is operating 24/7. So you're just changing that. The being is an energetic field that you're shifting, and then things will just, will show up easier. Good for you. Amazing. You mentioned that later in the program, your intuition became strengthened, that you were able to trust yourself and you got more creative business ideas. How's that playing? And that led you to starting a small community for women dealing with anxiety and stress. And that, that you realize you could see the value that you could bring to them. So would you like to elaborate to those listening, like what has transitioned, like how that came to fruition for you and how it's helping people, this platform you're giving your community?
Yeah, so it felt like it was something that was missing the whole time as I was going through this, was offering like an intense amount of value, because I would look back at the things that I had done and I would think to myself, well, that was valuable. Like, why aren't people knocking at my door to come and work with me? But when I
money.
yeah, when I step back and remember, it's like that's a drop in the sea, like, and you need to continue doing that and provide more and more value as you go.
Yeah.
And so I started hosting a weekly online support group for women that are struggling with anxiety and depression. And that was really one of the things that was my saving grace when I had become a mom, and I was really, really struggling in the beginning, was a weekly group that I would go to. And, I had to shift my mindset on like everyone should have to pay to like even be in the same zone with me to
Mm.
like, there's so much more that I can provide for these people to help them see, you know, where I've been, where I am now, how I got there, to build the trust and for them to get to know me. Like I was expecting things to happen so quickly, but I didn't realize there was so much foundational work to go into it. So since I started the support group, that's where most of my paid clients have been coming from. Clients who, you know, will have like a one-on-one call, they'll come to a few meetings of the group, and then they start to see the value. And it's been awesome. And you know, what's funny, actually, I didn't think about this before, but now I'm thinking about it, is one of the things is that every time we meet, I always encourage the women, like, if you don't feel led to speak and there's silence, just allow it, because somebody will step up and speak eventually when it's right. And I've kind of been going into almost a bit of a meditation while the rest of the group is happening to just kind of hold the peaceful space.
I'm excuse me, I'm gonna invite you just to come closer to the mic. It kind of comes in and out a little bit, but it's really, really good, Rachelle, when you're a little closer. Perfect. Yeah.
That's a little bit closer.
Yeah, that's really good again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just hadn't made the connection to how that happened in my life. And then I was able to like bring the stillness to the other women.
Yes.
It's been really cool.
That's amazing. See, so yeah, you followed through in your creative idea that you gleaned as you were doing this work, and then it manifested, and now people are getting a taste of you, and now they want to work more with you. So good for you. Beautiful. Let's see here. How did that was really, really good. So one of the other questions that you and I were talking about was, how did the program and working with me positively impact your life? And you were saying that it kind of adds to what you're saying, but it helped you become more mindful and more in tune of what it is that you need in your life versus what I want. I was wondering if you could elaborate on how it's helped simplify your life to focus on what really matters.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with recognizing my ego and understanding, like, you know, I have built a life that's really beautiful and I like having beautiful things around me and stuff like that. Or like, you know, going to Starbucks and getting a delicious latte, but it's like, okay, that's a $6 latte. Do I need this in my life? It's just like everything has shifted from the relationship that I was in, to the things that I'm spending my time doing now. Like I find myself reading a lot more. I've been listening to a lot more educational podcasts, just like bringing things into my life to enrich myself, because I realize that I can grow so much more than I think I ever thought was possible before. And now that I've weeded out a lot of stuff that's not necessary, there's just like a lot of room for great growth.
Growth in what you truly desire, or like discovering what truly matters that from the inside.
Yeah. Like, and seeing how I can really help other people grow in a real way when I put the effort in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's huge. That's really, really huge. What did you love most about the Crystallize Your Vision program? You talked to me. Could you elaborate on how you mentioned was getting in touch with your intuition, and that you'd already felt that you were connected to it, but it needed, I think you said, to be illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a distance to you or something like that?
Yeah, like I have always received things through visions in my life, like since I was a really young child. And I never knew what it was. And because of the way that I was raised and my beliefs, I would look at the things that I would see as negative, right? A lot of the time. Like, why am I seeing, even if it was a positive thing, I was like, this is wrong. I shouldn't be like seeing these things because they're not like in the Bible or whatever. But I was always so highly intuitive. And so it was this major part of me that felt really pushed down and demeaned basically for a long time. And so when I connected with you and started to like, hear that there is a way to live your life and get in touch with your intuition, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like this sounds like it's right up my
Right up
alley.
my alley. I was
Yeah.
gonna say the same thing.
And it's up everyone's alley. That's the thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just funny how we ignore it so much, or if you're not taught, then you don't know.
Mhm.
And yeah, it kind of was one of those things where I would start really, you have to listen to your body to follow your intuition, I would say. And that was the key that was missing for me because I was spending so much time numbing my body. And
Yes.
so, even if I wasn't intoxicated, just with food, right? Like you don't feel
Yeah.
yourself when you're stuffing your face with stuff that's not good for you and makes you feel slow and sick and stupid. And so, yeah,
Slow and sick and stupid. Wow. That's definitely low. Yeah. A challenge with self-worth. Slow and sick and stupid. Yeah. Sorry for highlighting that. That's really important though for the community to know that was how you impressed upon yourself for a while. Yeah.
yeah. And so, like getting into the B was really, really critical for me to like stop and just be. And then I could feel what was going on in my body and I could hear the messages that were coming.
What's one of the ways in the program that you were able to capitalize on how to get to the B state? Because quite often we hear that, less do, more be. And I've had clients say, well, how do I be? And so when I've been, one-to-one with them, I could take them into a bodywork session or a breathwork session. Inside the program, how did you glean on, what did you do to be?
What it was is something that was so simple, but so unavailable to me before because I was drinking
Yeah.
well, I couldn't leave the house. Like even if I had a drink, like I'm not going to go drive and do something, right? Because I'm responsible. So I would just not be able to leave and then I would feel stuck. And so the move principle for me was like, okay, so you're getting stuck. You feel like you're, smashing your head against the wall. What are you going to do? Move on to something else, go outside.
Okay.
But, for so long, I just wasn't going to do that because I had a drink or I had smoked a little bit of weed or whatever it was that I was doing. And so once I stopped, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go down to the ocean now. Like I can leave my house, and getting back in touch with the ocean specifically has been incredibly powerful for me. And I just go there pretty much every day, even just for 5 minutes, just to like get out, have the fresh air, be there, and just be there. And that is really what shifted things, which, it seems so simple, like just don't have a glass of wine at night. But it was hard for me to not because I didn't want to feel all the sadness.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what Rachelle is sharing is in the program, when we go through the 5-point star approach, one of the 5-point stars that she really didn't know at the time when we were first introducing the different points, but the move point on the star is moving your energy, moving your body, moving your breath. And it's just one, but it all takes the whole, points on the star in order to work with them together and figure out where you're off. And so that just kept you stuck. So what I'm hearing is, as you started to just that simple action of making a new action, I'm going to go near the water. I'm going to notice that lighthouse, where it reminded me of the soul entrepreneur journey that we're all on our own in some respects, even inside of the community. I remember that lighthouse images. I kept seeing them, by the way, after you're sending them to me too. Yeah. Inside thing that we had, we got to meet in person, which was so beautiful when I was in Victoria. So I really, really treasured that mini connection. And so thank you for sharing that. And so in general, do you relate better to people, like your intimate relationships, family, clients, customers, like, or do you have more empathy or compassion or patience? Like what's something that showed up for you?
Something that showed up for me and I don't know if you want to share this or not, because it is super personal, but is the things that happened in my childhood. And something that happened was that I came to the understanding that I had been sexually abused as a child by multiple people. And it was really interesting because when that information came in, there was almost an immediate acceptance and understanding. Not, I still had to work through it and I'm still working through it, but I was shown, you know, what happened to this person in their life as it was coming in. And I had this just understanding of, you know, you've been through something horrific and that's why you behaved the way that you did. And I feel like since having that realization, I can really see things in a bigger perspective. And so I don't get so frustrated. Like I had a really bad temper before. And it's really helped me just like zoom out and see the bigger picture and see everything that people are dealing with. And I just find myself way more accepting and just more able to take it. Like, you know, when someone's like acting out, specifically if it's like my daughter, I can just handle it now because I'm like, okay, well, look at all of the things that she's dealing with. And, you know, my heart aches for her sometimes with all of the pain that she's experienced in her little life. But I get it now. And it's something that it seems like a simple thing, but it's profound.
Can I ask if you see yourself in her now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Both ways. I see the sad little girl that I was, and I see the resilience that I also had. And, you know, I honor that I am doing a lot better of a job than my family did when I was her age. And I know that she will be much better equipped to deal with life because of the work that I'm doing. So it's great.
Amazing. You already answered one of the other basic questions is, do you feel calmer, more peaceful, a deeper connection to life and your purpose? And I think you've outlined that very clearly. Yes. You found a place to be calmer with yourself when you were angry or more aggressive or not able to listen to your daughter as well and so forth. So kudos to you. So many pieces. Hey, us working together has created that space for you. Really, you know, you do the work. It's you doing the work, but you finally were ready. Having one of my clients, she said, you know, at the end of her testimonial, you know, take Colleen's program if X, Y, Z, but you have to be ready. Are you ready? You know, she's like, don't do it if you're not ready to do the work. And you said that yourself, but the work is beautiful work. It's your work. It's your inner work. So you are definitely have shown up in the program like crazy. And that's why you're getting all the results, you know, and able to learn to be gentler with yourself. Just a few more key questions. Let's see here. Well, I think you've outlined it. Has your health improved? And so in what way, mentally, emotionally, or physically well-being? And has this been a difficult change for you to make, or did it come now with more ease and grace? I'm hearing back that your health is overall improving because of the addictive nature has been, you know, changing form of how you.
Yeah, I would say that. I would also say that it's been a really interesting physical journey because there's something that has been deep rooted and I don't know what it is, but like physically it's coming out and it's like I can feel it coming up. There's no, like, I don't think if I went to a doctor they would be able to say this is what is happening for you, right? But I just feel this thing that's coming out and it's crazy, like some old nastiness has just been in there.
I'm seeing dark, sticky,
Yes,
gooey, just like, and like grossy, yucky. Like if you tap into the feeling, it's just bleh, like it's
tar.
disgusting. Oh, tar. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And it is, I want to acknowledge that I get it. and it's, you know it. And so if you could share, how do you know it's there? How do you know in your body? What's a physical sensation you notice? But you know that it's there, but it's also on the way out.
Yeah, well, it's tightness, like it's once you get understanding like the energy centers, which are all part of the program. It started at the root, and that was the first couple months. It was going up through the root and my stomach area, and then it was kind of resonating in my chest. Now it's a little bit less there, but it's really in my throat right now.
Ah,
This has been
communication center.
very irritated the last week or so. And
Oh,
yeah, so I'm just doing lots of breath work and speaking the I ams and
beautiful.
moving it out.
Which, and you know, it's on its way out. In our program, we concentrate on, you know, there's many energetic centers and fields kind of outside of ourselves. So because we're learning to be our spiritual being in this human body, and we've used you know, addictive natures and numbing for so long, in the program I love to just capitalize on the basic energy centers, you know, the basic 7, 8 of them. And so it sounds like Rachelle is just moving from, I know, your base energy all the way up, and it's, you know, so it's going to come through, and this is going to open up more and more now, right? Your third eye, your sixth sense, you know, whatever people want to refer to that, you know, chakra energy, which is, chakra means wheel of energy, but, and then connecting to self, source, and others, to spirit, to your faith, to the creator. So you're already doing all that at the same time. It's just, yeah. So keep clearing it. One little tip here, if you need to move any aggression, if there's any of that, grab your pillow and just yell into your pillow.
I have been doing the screaming.
Okay, good. Oh, gave away one of the little tools that people can choose to use or not use. So you're using it. It worked for me.
Great. Honestly, it's so good. Yeah. Just like I find if I just go in my car, I'll get out one like blood curdling scream, and I feel so much better.
You get the thing is, as you're doing this work, everybody, because I've been through it, and you get into the release, but then you're actually physically having to deal with the scream, the loud voice that you did through your throat. So you really want to scream from your gut center, but still if you're doing a lot of it, it comes through your throat. You might get dry and irritated and take a couple of days, sound like you like lose your voice, like you've done a workshop all weekend. So it's just be gentle with yourself, and know that if you're going to lose your voice for a little bit, or it's a little raunchy or a little raw, you just want to, you know, include foods that are anti-inflammatory in nature, and give yourself a bit of gentleness after you go through that release thing. Be kind to yourself. We're going to wrap here shortly here. Do you more easily trust your intuition to guide you in better decision making? You were telling me about a client when we first worked together in the beginning, or you just got started in the program. You had a certain fee for someone, and then you changed your pricing within the period of our program, I think it was 2 months or 6 weeks. And so could you share with people what the program did for you, like about doubling?
Yeah. So I worked for free for so long, and then finally realized that I need to be charging people for this. And so I worked with one client, at my first paid client. And then after that, when I went to my next paid client, I charged twice as much. And for my next batch of clients, I will be doubling that. And you know, you forget sometimes how much knowledge you do have, and how beneficial it is for somebody who has zero knowledge and is literally at the beginning of their journey. And going through this helped me understand that the stuff that I know, while it seems second nature to me, that's only because I've read 100 books and spent 1,000 hours in therapy, right? So, you know, what I know does have value, and it really it helped me see that.
Yeah, what I saw in you is you came together into the program, you have this knowledge, a lot of knowledge. And most of my clients, when they show up, well, we're just starting to work together for the first time, they're like, you know, I've read the books, I've been doing personal development for years, I've seen healers, I've done you know, this, that. And then I say, well, what do you need? Well, we identify what they need, but they're like, I'm like, so what's the difference right now? They're like, well, there's this thing, there's this like hurdle and I don't know what it is, kind of like what you said, but it's getting you through that hurdle because you went deeper with yourself now in a different, just an ongoing different, a better way, a deeper way. So yeah, you've done amazing, doubling, like just doubling and now tripling. So yay, kudos to you. And it's not about the value so much, it's about your confidence and being able to claim your value and know that you deliver, and it'll grow over time. Thank you. Like your beautiful testimonial here today is really transformative for my business, right? And helping me reach other people. Last couple of questions here. Actually, you've already outlined this one. How are you better equipped to recognize and navigate stress, overwhelm, grief, anger? How do you do it differently? You mentioned you adopted the MOVE principle. And if you're feeling stuck, you no longer sit and bang your head against the wall. Is there anything that, you get up and you make switches and changes? Is there anything else that you add to that? Or is that the highlight for you, or one of the top ones?
That just getting outside, making sure I do the breath work every day before I start my day.
Okay.
That's been really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, that's key.
Yeah. Because otherwise I don't make time for it if I don't do it right away, first thing in the morning.
And do you vary the breath work? Do you sometimes have a shorter breath work, sometimes a little longer one?
Right now, because I feel like I'm a baby at it, I'm just doing 5 minutes. I'm doing a 5-minute breath work and then a 2-minute rest period. And, I combine with my other morning stuff.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Right. So you got a 7-minute ritual, 5 minutes of breathing, and then you sit and be in the stillness. And do you do it laying down? Do you do it sitting up? How do you like to do the breath work in the morning to get you activated? Because there's different kinds of
Yeah. Usually I'm laying down, but I try to open my throat. I try to lean back a bit.
Yeah. Move the pillow away. I do it every morning too. I'm laying on my pillow on my side and then I move the pillow away and you want to lay flat. That's the take on the rebirth thing. So beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. And are you better able to communicate with God, source, and spirit, your higher self?
Yes, I believe I am.
Sorry?
I believe I am. Yeah. Especially with the listening, because that's a huge part of communication, right? It's 50% is listen.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so are you aware then of your spiritual cheerleaders? You mentioned when we were in the program that there was an experience you had that was with the beloved grandma who passed away, and her presence came through and it taught you something or showed you, it reminded you of something that you needed to be, more vocal to. Speaking of more vocal, speaking of the shutdown community, speaking of being stuck in the 5th communication center a little bit right now, here you are. I'm gleaning questions from you and answers at a time when, oh my God, I just saw the connection. This is perfect for us, for you, because this is going to open this up. This is opening it up even more.
Yeah. So she came through, I preface to say, and I'll try to keep this brief, but we had, I think the very first breathing exercise that we did was like week 2 or week 3. Yeah. And it was like, I was laying on the floor because we kind of wrapped it up and then just ended the call. And I just became aware that I had this anger in my heart. And it was shocking to me because I live a pretty, light filled life. And even though I've always had a very dual personality where I very much feel the dark, I very much feel the light. And so this anger in my heart came through and I was like, ooh, what is this? And then I was thinking a lot about my grandmother and how I always felt like she never kind of she was like a tough broad, but she also kind of let people treat her shitty, I felt. Anyways, long story short, this generational anger that had been passed through to her, to my dad, to me, came forward in a heavy kind of way. And then I was having a meditation with a girlfriend and we both like we're across the world, we're doing this meditation, we both saw my grandma show up in a different way. And that night was the night that I had the download about the sexual abuse. And the whole thing was like, she was there to support me. And I always really felt like she never was, especially when I was little and the stuff was happening to me. And it's hard to imagine that she didn't know that something was going on, because it was always to do with one of the men in her family. But there was just something that really shifted there. And it was like, okay, she showed up from beyond to like walk me through what she couldn't when she was here. It was just very, very, very cool.
Because she lived it.
Yeah.
She lived that hard, that she lived, that is what she's showing me, that she lived that sexual, not your sexual experience, but she went through the similar trauma. That's what she's showing me. I don't know if that came through when we talked before.
I don't think it did, but yeah, I mean, she had like
very
7 or 8 children within like 9 or 10 years. So, I mean, there's definitely.
And there's different levels. I'll just say that there's different levels of being, what's the word? Like, not attacked. Well, maybe attacked. There's different levels of being someone pressing upon you. So the male wanting to, or the whomever wanting to, have the sex with you or whatever, pushing themselves on you. It wasn't always consent. It wasn't always consented. That's one thing for sure. But I also feel that she had something happen to her, but definitely the consent wasn't there for her a lot of the time. And there was forced upon her. So she really understands that with you. So wanted to add that. If when I channel and download, I'm not sure what I say, right? It just kind of comes through. And so that's very special. That was when I asked you what was a pleasant surprise. We were talking before and you said your grandma was beyond your expectations. So
yeah, just it completely shifted the way that I saw her life and why everybody else's life was the way that theirs was, and including mine. Yeah, profound.
Amazing. So in conclusion, to support those who've joined us and stayed with us through to the end here, 2 questions. In what way was working with me or inside Crystallize Your Vision different from what you've previously experienced?
Well, it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I mean, I had always, I think, come into this kind of a relationship because I knew there was a problem and I needed a solution. Like, when I started going to therapy, it was because I was falling apart as a mom. I was having terrible anxiety. I needed a solution. So I learned about anxiety, got the solution, moved forward. But I just didn't really know what to expect. And then like understanding that really what it is becoming a whole person was unexpected. It's the beginning of my journey to wholeness. And that was super unexpected, but what a great journey to be able to take. And the most important thing that I can do for myself and my future generations coming after me to become a whole person.
Wow. Actually, I wrote that down on my scribbles. That's really powerful. Becoming a whole person. Wow. I'm so happy for you. I just like love you so much. So thrilled. I can't say how thrilled I am. I have a little speechless myself. I'm actually speechless too, that the program was able to provide that value. That's my authentic. It's like, wow, how does that, as an entrepreneur, we're like, how does that work? And I realize I've been through it. And so I'm sharing my tools or whatever, and you get to glean that which feels true for you. Good work, girl. What would you tell someone who's considering investing to work with us inside the program? So 2 questions. What would you tell someone? And then would you recommend the program to others? And who would this program be a good match for?
I would tell others that doesn't really matter what you're dealing with or where you're at, it will help you get unstuck. Like it's good for any woman, I think. I would say to do it. I would say, like, as we said earlier, you know, if you're ready to take the step and do the work, do it. It's not going to be easy, but that's why Colleen is here. And that's why there's a group. And that's why you have access for life, so that you can get continued support, which is something you don't find anywhere else. Yeah, do it. Do it.
Do it. So it's stuck with anything that you're stuck with. That's a really key word. Stuck. Don't feel that your whole person. You're stuck on your so you're stuck on your business idea, you're stuck on your confidence, like raising your prices, you're stuck on your relationship, you're stuck with your health. Okay, I'm just reiterating because I'm gleaning on our conversations and things from the past, other members of as well, finding your heart's purpose, you know, attracting your dream job, attracting more money. Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Basically what the program will do is bring you into alignment with yourself, and who doesn't need that, right? So if you want more authenticity in your life, this is the place for you.
Oh, authenticity. Can I sign up? I'm kidding. Yes. That's why I'm here with you guys, because I need to keep being authentic as well. Excellent. And so that's who the program is a good match for. Who's the program? Oh, would the program be a good match for men? What's your opinion on that?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I don't see why not. I think there are probably less men who are in a state of mind where they're available or receptive to it. But I think anyone can benefit from the work, like 1,000%.
I just threw that in. I just had the thought because it's the same thing. I work with a lot of men in my journey. So it depends on that man who is accessible to their feelings and their sensations.
And it depends what comes up too, right? Because, you know, for me, like, I wouldn't have felt as comfortable sharing what I was dealing with personally if there was men in the group.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you for that. Could always run a coaching session with men and then one with women.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Good to know. That's really, really great, helpful information. So I love this today. I thank you so much for showing up today, sharing your heart, being a part of this journey inside the program, Crystallize Your Vision, and, you know, teaching me so much back, as well as I'm there supporting you along your path. So I love you so much, and I can't wait to continue our journey together. Thank you so much for your time, Rachelle. You're amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm excited to just continue.
Me too.
Okay. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks. Have a great afternoon, love. Bye.
Bye.